Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Larry Lursey. Welcome back to the channel. We've got a fun episode today. We are going to take a look inside the camera bag. A while back, I created a page where I had links to all the different items that I generally carry around in my camera bag or that I use in the studio. And I had a few people asking some questions about some of the items, so I thought I would just make a video where I walk you through everything, show you what I have and why I'm using it. Versus other options that are available. See if I can answer some questions. Should be fun. Speaking of fun, if you haven't already subscribed, I'm working on reaching 1 billion subscribers this year. And as you can see from the chart, I'm still short of that. So if you want to help me try and reach that billion mark, please take a second to subscribe and like the video. But without any further ado, let's roll the intro. Okay, so here we are. Let's start with the bag itself. I use one of these Think Tank bags, which I love. This is the Airport something. And I will tell you, the one knock on this right off the bat is I got it so that it would travel on an airplane as a carry-on. And I guess since the time I got this a few years back, they've gotten a little more restrictive. At least I think I've noticed this with like American and Delta. And the carry-on requirements now are like 1 inch thinner than what this is, probably because of this handle on the back side. Like when you try and slip it in one of those slots they have out front at the terminal to kind of show you whether it's going to fit or not, this part generally won't fit. And so I've never had anybody, knock on wood, never had anybody stop me getting on the plane. But if someone ever does try and hold you to it, this will probably not fit in that container. But I don't really use it. I more use it as my day-to-day going everywhere, camera bag or here in the studio. So that's not a big deal for me. But just something to keep in mind if you are going to be doing a lot of traveling, you do want to make sure that the dimensions are actually smaller than what the current airline carry-ons are. So other than that, love the Think Tank bag. And so it's got the telescoping handle there and the wheels. Works great. So one of the cool things about this particular bag is you've got an opening here at the top where you can get right here into where you would probably have the camera bodies. And then you can open up the side for a more traditional open up camera bag. So, which is what we are going to take a look at right now. All right, so inside the bag here, you're going to notice first off that I've got some open compartments here. And that is because my main camera, which we can talk about briefly, is my Canon R5, which I love, but I'm using it to film this video right now, so I can't show it to you. Maybe we'll bring a picture up. There you go, in case you haven't seen that before. Love it. It's a mirrorless camera. You can find a million videos online that will talk about the pros and cons of that camera, so we won't go into that. Just know that that's the one that I'm using. I think it's great, and I've been very happy with it. So that would normally go here in this compartment here. I break mine apart and have the body separate from the lenses, just mostly so I know looking in here that I've got all my equipment, and I just like keeping them all separate. That way I don't lose the caps and things like that from job to job. So you do have these movable things in here in the tank that allow you to separate it off. I've got in here a 5D Mark III. This is actually maybe a Mark II. This is my backup body that I use for the R5. Again, knock on wood, never had to use it, but this is the one that I carry in case the R5 ever goes cuckoo on me and I need a backup body. So this is the one that I have. For my kind of mid-range lens, I've got the Canon 24-105 lens that, again, I'm using for this video, so it would normally be here in the bag as well. Okay, so the lens that I use the most probably is this one, the Canon 70-200. And you will notice that it is not a 2.8 lens. And that's a question I get sometimes. Why not use the 2.8? And I used to have a 2.8 and had my camera bag stolen a while back. And when I was replacing things, someone was asking me, like, well, do you ever shoot anything at 2.8? I was like, no, I never shoot at 2.8. I'm usually at 8 or maybe 5.6. especially here in the studio. Never at 2.8. And they're like, well, why do you want to carry around a heavier lens everywhere? And so based on that, I said, well, I'll try a smaller. This one's only like a 4. So it's significantly less expensive, but more importantly, it's significantly less weight. And I really like it. For what I do, it is plenty fast focusing, great sharpness. It's a really good lens. And for me, that's what I'm going to use the vast majority of the time in the studio, unless I need a wider type of lens. But again, 2.8, nothing wrong with the 2.8. It's just I don't really have a use for it, and I'd rather have the smaller, lighter lens for when I go on location. So that's the answer to that question that comes up a bunch, is why that lens. I do have a collar. This one I think normally doesn't have a collar on it. I just got this extra third-party collar to put on it that allows me to mount this onto my tripod. So right there, 7200, that's probably the go-to. Let's keep moving through the bag here. Other lenses here, I've got a Sigma fisheye. It's a 15 millimeter. Don't use it a ton. It's very specific. More when I was doing weddings and things like that, I would use the fisheye for kind of fun shots. Every once in a while in a senior session, it'll come up, but it's more something that I've got in here just in case I'm ever somewhere and I need that fisheye. It's cool to have. It doesn't take up a lot of space, so that gets a spot in the bag. Another one that doesn't take up a lot of space, which I love, is this. It's a Canon 50, and it's an R, one of the new R lenses, and it's just a set 50. And, you know, by the way, if you've got the R series camera, you've got to get the RF lenses or an adapter, or you've got to get the new lenses. And so this one is one of the new ones, and it's just a 50, and it's great for, I like it for travel. When I go somewhere and I just want to have just my camera with me with just one lens, and it's small, you know, it's not going to stick off the camera like the zoom lenses do. It's a lot lighter, and it's just a straight-on 50 that you can use for kind of general, what you see is what you're photographing, general purpose lens for when you're going around places and you don't want to bring a lot of stuff with you. For me, it's a perfect medium, very inexpensive lens. And like I said, it's just really light and small. And so if you want to have just a good general purpose thing, I think it's always great just to have a little 50 like this in your bag because it's super useful. All right, so that's all the lenses that I will generally bring with me. I don't bring a ton of stuff. I've got a light meter here, a Sekonic light meter that I know some people probably have no idea what that is, but super handy for figuring out your light without just sitting there taking a bunch of pictures. You can go ahead and do it the right way by using a light meter. So I hope you're carrying some sort of a light meter with you. Got here a color checker for getting our color at a new location. Make sure I'll get a picture of this, carry it with me. I love this little X-Rite one that's, I think it's the Passport it's called, that folds up into a little thing like this and just keep it in your bag, and super easy to transport. All my cards in just a little card wallet like this. Here like that. I got a bunch of extra batteries in here. And that is essentially what I'm going to bring with me. I've got this side area over here that sometimes you can have things like gels, flash. If I bring like a camera flash, little strobe or something like that, that'll fit right here in this pocket if I need it. One thing we didn't really talk about is tripods. I always carry a tripod on any sort of a photo shoot. One I use primarily is a Manfrotto 3021, which is an older tripod, and it's actually what I'm using right now to film this video, so I can't show it to you. And they probably don't sell it anymore anyways, so not really worth talking about it too much. However, one that I recently got for travel is this Peak Design. It's their travel tripod, and I don't know, it's around $350, something like that, I don't remember. Kind of expensive, but it is a really small, light tripod, and it still gets decent height, and it's pretty stable. And so if you're looking for one that's a good portable travel tripod, I highly recommend this Peak Design one. They do one that's also the carbon fiber, and it's a lot more expensive, and it's lighter. So if that's important to you, then you can certainly look into the carbon fiber. But I just went with the regular one, and for me, it's plenty small. So been happy with that. So that is basically what I carry with me in the camera bag. and why I carry those different things. And hopefully that gives you an idea of what I'm doing. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. If not, there's a link below to the page where you can see all the items and research them more yourself if you're interested. But that's all for right now. I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.